Okay, we're on the home stretch here with our roof design, so pay attention here because this can get a little technical. This is probably the hardest part of the design, is designing the rafters for this. So remember, a truss is like a pre-made roof system. A rafter is something that you build in place. So we will be building these in place, so these will be our rafters. We're thinking about pitches that we would like. And the roof pitch that we decided on was a 412, so it's not too steep, but it's also not too shallow. So here's an example of different pitches. It goes 1, 2, 1 is very shallow, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to a 12-12, which is like a 45-degree angle. They even go more than that. So I decided this would be a decent one. A lot of houses in this area use this pitch. So let's go ahead and do our rafters. To start out, you want to find your tape measure tool and snap to this far left corner. Make sure it's this outside corner here, and drag to the right. And a 412 pitch has a run of 12 and a rise of 4. So we're going to type 12, enter. That gives us a guide point at 12 inches. We're going to snap to that guide point and go straight up and type in 4. Make sure it's blue or whatever axis it's parallel with. Make sure it snaps to that and is straight up and down. Makes it a 90 from this top plate. And we want to type 4, enter. So we have over 12, up 4. Now that gives us our pitch. If I were to snap a line from here to here, you can actually see that pitch. Looks pretty good now that we can visualize it. Okay, we're going to build our rafter basically onto this line. Before we do, we need to make a couple guidelines. So snap to this corner once again and go down this line. So make sure it's not green, but it's following. And you might have to, change your view a little bit to make sure it snaps to that. Type 6, that'll give us a 6-inch overhang for our tails of our rafters. That'll make our eaves. And then come here to this far right corner and snap and go straight up and snap to that. And now we just want to carry these all up 1 inch. This is going to help us later on. I'll show you why we do this later on. So I'm going to snap here and make sure I go straight up, 1, enter. Come off this corner here, go straight up, 1, enter. Okay, and then I'm going to come over here, snap to this guide point, 1, enter. And then here at the end, go up, 1, enter. Okay, so now we can start actually drawing the rafter. So we'll go to our line tool and snap from this guide point to this guide point to this guide point to this guide point. And I want you to go straight up. See how it's turning blue? Actually, I don't want you to go straight up. I want you to come to the left a little bit till it turns purple. See how it's perpendicular to that line? If it's not doing that, sometimes you can hover over this and then go up and it'll turn purple. Remember, our board is 3.5 or 3.5 inches wide. So type in 3.5, enter. I'm going to hit escape to get out of the line tool or stop that command. And then come down here and do the same thing. Okay. 3.5, enter. Then I'm just connecting the dots. It's going to make a shape now that the lines are connected. Okay, when you're actually doing rafters, or if you look at a truss, they cut these ends so that they are straight down. If you were to like hang a line down from this, like if you were to hang a plumb bob straight down from this, then that's where you would cut. So I'm gonna snap this corner. I'm gonna go straight down, make sure it turns blue. I'm gonna snap there. Then I'm gonna snap this bottom corner and go straight up, snap there. Okay, now let's do our bird's mouth. So to connect onto the top plate, we want it to have a little saddle here for it to sit on. And it's a certain percentage of the thickness of the board. We figured out that for 3.5 inches, you want around an inch. So I'm going to snap here. I'm going to go up 1. Actually, not 1, 7/8. 7/8. So I type in the fraction, 7/8, enter. Then I'm going to go straight over to the right, make sure it's snapping to that red axis, or whatever axis it's on, and snap to the edge here, and make sure it stays red. Okay, that is going to make it fit nice and snugly here on our top plate. So now I can just go through and delete the lines that I don't want. So I get my eraser tool. I want to get rid of this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. Okay, and actually, we need to double check something. So do Control Z and bring those back. So Control on your keyboard and then Z, 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 Z. Get back here. One thing I forgot to mention is that we want this right here to be a 1/2 inch back. What we're going to do is we're going to put a ridge board across this, and it's a 1/2 inch plywood. And then we're going to have a ridge board on the other one, and we're going to screw those two together when we assemble these two halves. So I got a little ahead of myself here. I'm going to delete this line. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my line tool. I'm going to take and I'm going to extend this line just a ways. Make sure it's on the right axis. Just go out here a ways. Hit escape. Then draw a line straight up and snap to that. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to subtract a 1/2 inch off of this. So what I'm going to do, just so I'm not confused, I'm going to erase this line. We don't need it anymore. I'm going to erase this one. Basically this line goes straight up from here, connects in there. Okay, so now let's get our pencil and let's click here and go back this direction. Okay, see how I'm going straight back. Type 0.5, enter, then go straight down and snap to there. Get the eraser. Now this should be 1/2 inch back from this edge. So when we put our 1/2 inch plywood on there, it should be flush with this edge. So let's make sure that's right. I'm going to go ahead and get my tape measure, snap here, go straight to the left. Okay, it is. It's a 1/2 inch. Alright, if you have to, go back and re-watch that part. Make sure you get that right. It should go straight down. And then we can now erase this part as well. Like that. And our bird's mouth. Okay, now all we need to do is extrude this, paint it, and make a component. So go to your push-pull tool, click on that face, drag it to the right, in towards the doghouse. So I'm dragging it in this way. Type in 3/4 of an inch, so you can do 3/4 or 0.75, enter. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and get where I can just look up this, like that. See, I can look up that board or look down it, either way. Do the select tool, make sure you select just this board and the whole thing. Okay, and it's selecting this line here. I'm going to take that line and delete it. Okay, I'm going to select that board. I'm going to go ahead and paint it. I'm going to paint it this wood color. I'm going to right click and make it a component. I'm going to call this rafter. Okay, now we have that. We can put it in place. So I'm going to go ahead and do the move tool. I'm going to select this outside corner right here. I'm going to snap that to this outside corner of our top plate. Now we have our first rafter in place, which sits back a 1/2 inch from that edge. It's all ready to go. Okay, so from here it's not too bad. All you have to do is duplicate that. So I'm going to go ahead and right click, copy. Oops, hit escape. I'm still in the move tool. I'm going to do select, right click, paste. And it looks like it's pasting from, I'm just going to click somewhere over here. Once I get it in the general area I want it, then I'm going to make sure that I get it right where I want it. Okay, there we go. And then what I think would be a good idea is you're going to want this bearing wall, the rafters, to be centered over our studs so that the weight's right over those studs and it's already the right spacing. Well, for doghouse it's fine having space there. So what I'm going to do is do Control V and paste another one of these and just kind of snap it over here. Control V, just paste another one about there. And then I'm going to go ahead and snap that. Or hit escape. Okay, do the move tool. I want to snap that corner just on this edge for now. Okay, then I want to snap this corner just on this edge for now. I'm going to put a little guide point. So what I'm going to do is do my tape measure. I'm going to snap that. Well, not snap, I'm just going to hover over it and go straight up. And click one right there. And you can connect them if you want, it doesn't matter. Okay, now we have a guide point on both of those. Actually, this one didn't quite work. Let's fix it real quick. Huh. Board might be a little bit off. Okay, so now, actually, let's do a guide point on this left edge, too. That might be a better edge to go off of. So I'm just going on the left edge of that board instead of the center of it. Now I'm going to move it, and I'm going to snap this corner to that edge there. So it basically is right over the top of that. Okay, let's do one more and then we're done. I'm going to snap this one right there. Okay, so there's our rafters. The only thing we need to do now is add our ridge board here where we'll connect the two. We'll do that and we'll add some little vertical supports in the next video. So make sure you get this one down, get them looking just like mine. Once you're finished, go on to the next video.